Okay, here we have the Skreddy Hybrid Fuzz, and it's in between two of my favorite pedals. My drive pedal, which is the Barber LTD SR with board mod, and the Ramble Effects Twin Bender, which is a fuzz. The Skreddy falls somewhere in between, but definitely more towards the drive side, and we'll get to what that is or why. I'm playing my Les Paul, and I have the both pickups split and the amp set up to a Fenderish clean with some reverb. So here's what it sounds like without anything. Okay, so that's where we're starting from. Let's start with the bass tones. These are the settings that I use with these pedals. So first and foremost, the Barber. That's the Barber. Just as a heads up, I'm using a stubby pick. These are really smooth with sharp edges, so it does give you an even more enhanced clean tone. Let's go to the Skreddy, which actually had it. Let's start it off at a lower drive, which is how I use it mostly. And actually, if I was being honest, I think the volume's up a little higher than it needs to be. So that's that. We're on the neck pickup. And now we have to cheat. Here is the tone bender with the settings I use on the neck, but the volume is rolled back to just below 8, and here's why. If we go to 8.1, this is what you get. I did a little bit of a roll on right there, but essentially it is loud. Now, of course it's loud. I have it set at max attack and volume is 75% there. There's a reason for that. This pedal loves to be cranked. If I, for instance, let's turn the attack, well, let's just back the volume down. So we'll keep it, at high fuzz, which again, not a fair comparison. We're at 8 still, or just below it. And a bit of a bump. That's with it rolled down to 6.5, and then 10. So before the neighbors call the police, you just get a better tone out of it if you have it maxed and on the attack and pretty high on the level. I'll go into more of that later. But long and short is, the 3 different pedals, obviously, but the Skreddy is going to fall into more of a drive category. We're at about 45% of the fuzz, which is the top middle knob, and it's already, it does get somewhat fuzzy and definitely adds to our tone. Not nearly as loud, obviously, because we don't have it pumped up as high as the the twin bender. So if we use the Badcat, lower that volume, and then do something similar. Gets a little noisier, obviously, but you maintain relatively the same tone. Let's back down the fuzz. Now without the fuzz. So it really does maintain the tone that the amp is spitting out. Amazingly, it just puts a little bit of fuzz hair on it. And again, as opposed to, let's turn this down. So the Barber does an amazing job too, but it is a different kind of drive. If you really get going with the Barber, yeah, there are some similarities, but what I will say is the hybrid fuzz it's got that fuzz air to it, and I hope it's coming through on the mic, especially if we compensate for the dropped fuzz. It's just got a great way of maintaining the tone, but actually almost enhancing the liveliness of the string. So let's see what the other side of things is. Drop the volume back down. So it's good. It's fuzzier, but I don't know necessarily. If it competes that well with the twin bender for being a fuzz. If we roll this back down, to 7.5. 8. So as you can hear, we get pretty out of control quickly, but the hybrid fuzz isn't going to replace a pure fuzz. Somewhere in here, it's just going to give you a great fuzzy tone on top of a clean signal or a driven signal. We'll get to that in a little bit. Some of the other controls, mid boost, so let's just one last time. So, again, great tone. Let's hold back the presence. Go 75%. It also made it a lot louder and way too harsh to listen to. And then you have your mid boost, which I had a little bit past 50%. Back up to where it was. This is a much more subtle control. That's starting to sound very tube screamery to me, again, but with more of a fuzz tone. And then finally, again, we're still on the neck. If we max this out, this is the tightness control. It's a subtle bass control. Now on single coil mode, it doesn't have a huge effect. So let's try something else. Now we got the neck. In humbucking mode. Now if we had that rolled all the way back, it gets really bassy, or bassier. Again, it's more of a fine control than a massive bass boost or bass cut. If we had the fuzz higher and then roll back the tightness, you will see a much bigger example. But again, it's there just so that, and I did it with the twin bender, if you roll the neck on too high, you just get this overwhelming bassy mush, which could be usable in some situations. But is not what we're looking for. So let's go to the bridge just for split again. And then let's go back to this. I really do like some of the lower settings. And then let's try. So, again, depending on what you're looking for this to do. You can hear the pick on the strings. It's got that liveliness. So all in all, great pedal, as long as you're not thinking it's going to be a fuzz replacement. If you go all the way 100%, it gets super noisy. As you can tell, there is some noise at higher levels. But again, if you're using your amp to get to the volume that you need and not the pedal, you're going to be more than fine anyway. Again, this is more of a flavor add than overwhelming or anything. It kind of reminds me of, which is in the shop right now, the Klon copy I have. You're paying for subtlety as opposed to something that's going to just knock you out of your chair as to the tone that's going to come out. So again, great pedal. If you're looking for a drive with liveliness that's really open and has some interesting subtle tweaks to it, this is a great option. It's not cheap. Contact your dealers. Usually you might be able to get a deal of some sort. They sell on eBay for pretty expensive as well. Or wait for one of those 15 or 20% sales. And then if you want a full out fuzz, I have yet to find something for the money that's better than the Twin Bender if you're looking for a raw, vintagey sounding fuzz. And the Barber, which isn't available anymore in its pure form, is a great drive. But yeah, check out the Skreddy Hybrid Fuzz if you're looking for something to add some fuzziness to your driven signal. All right? Good luck to you. Hope this is helpful.